So the difference a year makes. So welcome to the reorg meeting of 2021, and for allowing me to say a few words about the state of our town. So 2020, where do I start? Exactly 1 year ago, I was sworn in as your town supervisor. If someone had told me that in a mere 10 weeks I'd be declaring a state of emergency, I would have told them that they were watching way too many horror movies. Unfortunately, with the arrival of COVID, our world changed forever, and what I expected from my first year changed almost overnight. During COVID, we all experienced loss, whether it was the heartbreaking loss of someone we loved or knew, loss of employment, loss of being near or with our loved ones, or the loss of revenue for so many of our local businesses struggling to keep their doors open. However, speaking for myself, I also learned a lot from COVID. Specifically, that even during the worst of times, Orangetown is a great place to live because of the people that live here. I saw our residents and businesses step up to donate both their time and their money to help neighbors in need. We literally had more names of volunteers than we knew what to do with. They offered to deliver food, medicine, masks, or anything else we asked of them. I watched as local organizations such as the AOH, the American Legion, the Nyack Center, and the Pride Center, just to name a few, stepped up to establish food pantries. It is appropriate at this time to recognize Carmel Riley for organizing the Orangetown Virtual 5K, which raised over $12,000 for these local food banks. I saw residents, some of whose own businesses were struggling, step up to volunteer on the Kickstart Orangetown Committee. These volunteers donated their time and their resources to try and help local businesses to get back up and running. And while some of it did not work as we planned, it showed our business community that we cared about them. We were thinking about them, and we were doing what we could to help get them back up and running. I also want to offer thanks to the Orangetown employees and department heads who work to keep Orangetown open to service the needs of the residents. With a special shout out to our town clerk and her staff, who were first point of contact for residents visiting Town Hall throughout the pandemic, and who had a record number of marriages in 2020, most taking place right outside my window. And thanks to the Orangetown Police, sewer plant operators, and other frontline workers who were not able to work from home or away from their work sites for keeping us safe and our sewers working. In addition, during COVID, I had the opportunity to work closely with the other town supervisors and village mayors. I spoke with them regularly, and during the height of the pandemic, it was often daily, if not more. We all shared common goals, keeping our residents and our employees safe and informed. It meant a lot to me to know that I could reach out to any one of them and ask for advice at any time. Most important for me, however, was how this town board came together to work as a team. I am proud of the work that we did during COVID to keep both our employees and residents safe. To be sure, we did not always agree on everything, but we knew that each one of us was trying to do what we thought was best for our residents, our employees, and our families. So we worked together and found common ground. I am not shy about saying that I think we did an awesome job during COVID, including the work that we did on the budget. Faced with the budgetary crisis due to the pandemic, the town board made hard choices, but did what we needed to do to keep the budget under 2%. Lastly, I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge Pfizer Pharmaceuticals and say how exciting it was for me to have the first vaccine developed right here in Orangetown. I wanted to thank the volunteers that participated in the clinical trials and the Pfizer employees, some who are our very own Orangetown residents. Unfortunately, the horror movie known as 2020 that started with COVID in March did not end there. 2 months later, on May 25th, the death of George Floyd sparked civil unrest, protests, and rallies, and Governor Cuomo implemented Executive Order 203, which mandated all municipalities to perform a comprehensive review of its police policies and procedures and to submit a plan to the public and the state. Chief Donald Butterworth and myself formed a committee with a cross-section of our town to hold meetings and review our police policies. I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who's working on the committee, including Councilman Dennis Troy and PBA President Nick Whalen, to tackle this very important mission. However, 2020 wasn't done with us yet. In early August, Tropical Storm Isaias swept through New York and unleashed tornadoes, high winds, and heavy rain that resulted in extended power outages, including to my own home, which was without power for 5 days. The town supervisors were besieged with phone calls from distressed residents and seniors. Afterward, we banded together and complained to Governor Cuomo about the less than satisfactory response from Orange and Rockland. We have made it a joint mission to ensure that Orange and Rockland does better by the residents of Rockland County. And from the response to the storm on Christmas Day, it appears that for now, that our message was heard. Then in December, just as 2020 was nearing an end, the Village of South Nyack residents voted to dissolve the 142-year-old village. I will have a little bit more to say about that in a minute. But 2020 is finally over. For me, I'm looking forward to 2021 with hope, optimism, and a plan to do all that I wanted to do in 2020. Here, in no particular order, are a few of the highlights for 2021. The RFP for proposals for planners for the Orangetown Comprehensive Plan. They are in, and the town board will be reviewing them in the coming weeks. This is an important first step for the future of Orangetown. It is a process of developing a master plan for how we, and by we, I mean all of us, want to see Orangetown for years to come. An all-inclusive playground at Veterans Park. Allison Carden of my staff worked tirelessly with volunteer Lauren Domatrovis to make sure the replacement playground at Veterans Park will be fun and accommodating for Orangetown children of all abilities. The design is now complete, and we're waiting on the grant money that was promised from New York State. Owen, I hope you're listening, so that we can get the project started, hopefully as early as this spring. H&A. The town issued the request for expressions of interest, and it is currently out. We are optimistically anticipating proposals from some top-notch developers and hoping to get some exciting proposals that will enhance the area and bring in clean tax rateables for the town. The South Nyack dissolution. Over the next year, the town board will work closely with the village board to make the dissolution of the village and the transition to the town as seamless as it can be. As I stated in a Facebook post, it is time to put aside the divisive language that I often see on social media, the we versus them, and it's time towards making Orangetown and us. Being an unincorporated Orangetown does not make a hamlet lose its unique personality. South Nyack will remain South Nyack with its distinctive qualities and characteristics, even after the dissolution. I look forward to working with Mayor Christian, the village trustees, and the town board to ensure that this happens. I'm going to close with just thanking you for placing your trust in me to be your town supervisor. It's not something that I take lightly, and while it has been a challenging year to say the least, I am proud of how we, as a town, persevered. It has been an honor to serve you, and I look forward to a much better, productive, and healthier 2021.